On May 30th, El Salvador was hit by Tropical Storm Amanda, which left 30 people dead and thousands of people displaced and without homes. It was particularly devastating, not just because it was such a powerful storm, but also because El Salvador was also suffering greatly because of the martial law enforced quarantine and the COVID pandemic. Many people were already hungry, many people were already experiencing great tragedy.
Y en la primera no me quedó nada, solo salí con la ropa que yo andaba, con mis niños, que fue lo primero que saqué. Y pues ahorita los tienen albergado acá y gracias a Dios ya los trajeron ropita para andar seca porque no teníamos lo que es nada nos quedó.
So immediately following the storm, we went out with a group of our youth, a small group of our youth, and we began handing out food. We began handing out hot meals and blankets and other needed items to those who had been affected. We went to one particular area of Nehapa that's right down by the river, and there's a community of people who live down there in tin shacks and mud homes, and they had really been hit hard because of the flooding from the river and all the runoff that was coming down from the mountain, and it had flooded their homes. And it was down there that we met Julia, and Julia just really caught our attention because she's 83 years old, but she's just so energetic and so youthful and so full of energy. I think that she has more energy than some of our youth sometimes. Julia has been widowed for 27 years after having been married to her husband for 37 years, who used to work as a farmer.
I remember meeting Julia, and we were sitting in her little adobe house, and I remember asking her if we could open the window, and she said the window doesn't open, and she said, but that's not a problem, it's not necessary, because I can see through the cracks in the wall. And I remember we were just started laughing, but because of those cracks in the wall, water off of the hill would actually come into her house, and that actually made her adobe house very unstable. So we made a decision to repair Julio's house and to reinforce the walls. And we actually stuccoed the walls. We refinished her walls for her. We put a new roof on Julia's house because the structure was wood and it was actually rotting and falling in. So we were able to put a new metal roof on her house. We put a new cement floor in Julia's house because Julia had a dirt floor in her house. We were able to put a retaining wall around her house with drain pipes to keep the water away from her house. And now Julia is back in her house and she's excited to be back in.
I think that one of the fun things that we learned about Julia is that she had actually not slept in her house for several years. Each night she would go to her sister's house, her sister's in her 90s, and it lives up the river, and Julia would go to her sister's home to sleep because she was afraid to sleep in her own house because of the water coming in and the unstable walls. So once the construction had been finished on Julia's home, Bobby and another young man from our ministry, they helped move her back in, and she was so excited because it was going to be her first night in her house in several years, and that she felt safe and excited and just to be in her own home again. And the verse that comes to my mind is James 1:27 that says, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress. And we are just so truly grateful to everyone who has made this possible, that you are the heroes in the story, because you have helped bring relief to not only our youth and those in the community during this time, but also to Julia. So thank you so much to everyone who's been a part of this. We are truly grateful.